What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into The Flash issue 796. This is the 1 Minute War finale. It has all come down to this singular moment. Now, many of you recognized in the last issue that we saw a bunch of heroes from Heroes in Crisis making their return on Planet Flash. The way that we had got to Planet Flash was Wally West. While the Flash family, they believe Wally West had died. They believed that there was no returning for him. Myself and many of the other readers, we knew that this wasn't the end of Wally West. Instead, we see Wally West spit out somewhere in time, where he is at a place that is known as the Time Point, a place that is kind of out of space and time. With Wally finding himself here, Barry Allen and the others, they are making their last stand against the Fraction. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with Wally West with Gold Beetle. Gold Beetle is telling everybody that they need to get into the Gold Bug, and reminding them to grab the artificial conduit vest that the Fractions are using. They were able to get their hands on some, and be able to replicate it in a specific manner. Wally is still trying to figure out what is going on. Gold Beetle reminding him that he's not dead. You could say that he melted. This supercharged Speed Force had hit him. All that Speed Force energy, it dematerialized him. It sucked him into the Speed Force and it spit him out. Gold Beetle lets us know that Mr. Terrific and Fair Play think that this is a defense mechanism, believing that the Speed Force developed this after what they call the Surge fiasco. And since the Speed Force runs through all of time and space, when you are kicked out of it, you land here, outside of time and space, a place that used to be called Time Point. But when Wally had started the team, he changed it to Planet Flash. Wally's next question is, how did they survive? How did all the people from Heroes in Crisis make it out? That's when Gold Beetle says, "What do you mean?" When Wally was in Bart's body, he told Gold Beetle to save everybody. And so in her eyes, she was simply following orders. She had jumped back in time and did everything she needed to do, except for Roy Harper. He was too close to the Surge. But when she popped back forward in time and saw that he was okay, she assumed that it was mission accomplished. When asking how this is possible, Gold Beetle tells him that he is going to love this, that it's an old family trick, that there is a cloning factory in the 35th century. Now Wally puts her at pause and lets her know that this is going to have to wait till later, that right now Earth is under attack by the Fraction. Gold Beetle and them are already aware of this. That is exactly why they are loading up right now, because the Fraction may have an army, but so does the Flash family. Everybody here on Planet Flash is gearing up to go to this fight. And thanks to Jai, they were able to get some of their artificial conduit harnesses. And Fair Play was able to adapt it to their physiology. But this gives them only about a minute of speed time, and then they are going to freeze. But future Wally says that that 1 minute is all they are going to need. This is what takes us back down to Earth with Barry Allen facing against the General, with all the Flash family sitting here battling against the Fraction. Right now, Barry Allen is furious. He has lost the love of his life. He has lost his brother, his kid Flash. Wally West is gone, but those are only 2 lives in the grand scheme of things. He knows if he doesn't stop them, this whole planet will be taken. And so as Barry and the General battle one another, we see Barry rip off the harness of the General. His connection to the Speed Force has been cut off. And instantly, we see that he freezes. Jay Garrick and Barry having a conversation talking about needing to get to the engine room so they can shut all of this down. But to do that, they are going to need a distraction. Lucky for them, that is where we have the arrival of all the heroes from Heroes in Crisis along with Wally West. Exactly the distraction that they needed. having the army that was most necessary to taking down the fraction. We see them jumping into high gear, and while Gold Beetle and Wally are in the ship trying to do what they can, they have taken over one of the vessels and they are using it to take out the others. Gold Beetle says that this is exactly like the time that they dropped into the crisis with OBM. If you remember, OBM was the wrestler that came here for the multiversal wrestling event. As the battle rages on, we see that their 1 minute of time has come to an end, which means all the heroes from Heroes in Crisis that are not organic conduits, they freeze. And with them freezing, we see that the general gets up to his feet, something that should not be possible without his harness to the Speed Force. This means that he is also an organic conduit, with Wally and Gold Beetle making their way to this fire, but Gold Beetle freezes up. Wally knows that this is as close as he is getting, and so he jumps out of the vehicle and he goes to take it down. And while he's doing that, we see that members of the fraction are seeing the general. They are seeing that he is an organic. The fraction sees the organics as less than, as more battery packs than anything else. So seeing this before them, they are all furious. A man that is supposed to be betrothed to the Empress. The Empress already knew that he was a conduit. After their experiments, he became an organic. And no matter what he says, these guys of the fraction, they don't care. He is a speedster, and in their eyes, he is now the enemy. This is where the internal conflict begins. Picking up with the Flash family, they know that they have to generate enough of the Speed Force to overload this fire and supercharge their artificial conduits. While Barry is hoping that this will work, Max Mercury and Jay Garrick says that this will. A long time ago, Max had tried to break the Speed Force barrier. Each time, he leaped forward in time until he landed here with all of them. He was never able to move beyond it, and now he thinks he understands why. It is the same reason that Jay stayed alive this long, why Bart came back to this time, why this boy was freed to help them. They are all here for a reason, because something wants them here, right now, in this moment, in this time, because they are a family, and the only way that they can stop these things is together. And so the Flash family, they run. That's where we pick up with the general. He has just dispatched most of the individuals that were around him. He killed every single one of them, moving through them faster than you could think. Coming up from behind him is Wally West. Wally is recognizing that he is connected to the Speed Force, and he is a powerful speedster, maybe even more powerful than Wally West. If he gets to Barry and the others, this is all over. And so he knows that it is time to stop him. As the two of them begin to tussle, throwing punches, we see that the general definitely has the upper hand. He is much stronger than Wally, but the general does lack the intelligence of Wally. This is where Wally takes the opportunity, using the general's momentum, throwing him into one of those little battery packs. Getting launched into it, the doors close behind him and he is now stuck in here. More than that, he is now a power source. He is going to be used to send all of them back in time. Everyone that is wearing a harness is going back before all of this happened. And when they go, all the hurt, the death, all of it that they brought with them will also be gone. And of course, the general is going to be stuck here. The secret of being an organic conduit: you exist in space, but outside of time. That you are a paradox. And so as this pod retreats in time, the general will still be aware of everything that he has done, everything that he failed to do. And someday they may thaw him out, but Wally is guessing that isn't going to happen for a very long time. Maybe a couple hundred years, maybe even 1,000. This is when we are taken to 1 minute earlier. They are getting ready for their invasion, waiting for the general to give the order. They cannot find him. There are no signs of him on the ship. Right now, they are still unaware that he is in the battery pack. They give the order to abort mission, to reroute back to the homeworld. Something strange is going on, and without the general to give them guidance, they are not going to land on this planet and take any chances. And so the invasion is called off. They have been sent back in time, but they are not landing on Earth. They are returning back home. As Wally greets his family, giving his wife a hug, hugging his children. Barry Allen, wasting no time, he heads directly over to where Iris was. Seeing that she is alive and well, he rushes over to her and he tells her yes, that he wants to grow old with her, have children with her, that he loves her, and he is more than ready to tie the knot. And so, taking us to a little bit later on, we are picking up at the house of Wally West. Gold Beetle getting ready to say goodbye to everybody. She does ask if Jai is inside, and while she would want to go and say hi to him, she can't. The first time they meet is a very special moment. She doesn't want to ruin that memory for either of them. Plus, she's going to go drop off all the heroes in Crisis back to their respective time periods. And then she's going to try to make sense of all this weird continuity. In this moment, we also learn that one of the speedsters, his name is Wade, the boy that they found captured by the Fraction. He says that his name is Wade and his parents named him after Wade, some individual that was a cool relative that he knows about. Linda going on to say that Wally has an uncle with that name, and so the possibility that this young boy is connected to the Flash family seems very likely. With everybody saying their goodbyes, we pick up at the epilogue. We have Max Mercury staring at the sunset, getting ready to take off. Before he goes running, he runs into Bart, and Bart had thought about what Max had told him, about them being there to fight the Fraction. And now that they have been defeated, he thought maybe Max might try to cross over, or go forward, or wherever it is he is going. And that's the idea. And so Bart is more than willing to jump. He's ready to go. And while Max can't ask him to do this, Bart tells him that you weren't asking, that they are family. Where he goes, he also goes. With Bart ready to see what's next, saying that it should be fun, our two speedsters, they take off to the horizon. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This was a great ending to the 1 minute war. I absolutely loved it. We see that the heroes in Crisis are all still alive. That Gold Beetle went back in time and she saved all of them. And if you're a little confused about continuity, don't worry, Gold Beetle is as well. She is not fully understanding how all of this works, but she's trying to figure it out. If anybody were to truly understand the continuity of DC, it's going to be Gold Beetle. She is going to be a whole slew of information in the future. And her talking about cloning individuals in the 35th century, that is a very interesting concept. And I want to see where that's going to go. I want to see how that's going to work. But like I've been saying for a while now, this fight was only the beginning against the Fraction. We have seen glimpses into the future where they are fighting the Fraction again. This is only the beginning of the war. This one singular battle has been won, but we can expect much more to come in the future. I always love when Gold Beetle is introduced into a comic, because she always comes with a bunch of little Easter eggs on what might be happening in the future. Now, the timeline is always changing. What they see in the future might not necessarily happen depending on the events that might take place. But if all goes according to plan, then we are gonna see OBM again. We are gonna see the Fraction again. We are gonna see all the heroes in Crisis again. We are going to see Planet freaking Flash. It is very sad that Jeremy Adams is going to be leaving the Flash title. I can't remember what issue he's ending on. It might even be this issue. I honestly have to go look it up. But you guys know I was a huge fan of Joshua Williamson, and I was a little skeptical on Jeremy Adams taking over, but man, has he done a phenomenal job. I would say that this far surpasses what Joshua Williamson had done. Granted, I absolutely adore his year one of Barry Allen, but Jeremy Adams, he has definitely left his mark on the Flash titles. The 1 Minute War, I don't feel like it is one of those comics that is just going to be one and done. This is going to have far-reaching implications. I hope the next writers, whatever they may be, even 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, they look back on this 1 Minute War and they utilize some of these stories in future comics. But now that the 1 Minute War is over, I am very excited to see what is in store for Wally West, his family, and his new soon-to-be child. And it also appears that we're gonna have a Flash wedding set in the future as well. Iris West and Barry Allen are going to be tying the knot. This story has given us so much of the Flash, and I am so ecstatic that this story was told. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with this series, do me a favor, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.